Boom, 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 boom. Hey, Conor, Cunneen, Irishman Speaks here, out walking the land and contemplating on some thoughts on adding humor to your presentation. In this series of videos, I will provide you with some simple tips, tricks, and techniques that will help you to add humor to your presentation. And the basic idea, my friends, is that you don't have to create humor. All you have to do is capture humor that you see all around you. And when you capture that humor and just put it into a repository or somewhere where you can check it on a regular basis to see how I can use one of these little incidents, you will be much better at adding humor to your presentation and connecting better with your audiences. And when you connect better with your audiences, you're going to get your message across better. When you get your message across better, you're going to be asked back for repeat engagements. And if you're a professional speaker, you're going to get higher fees. Nothing wrong with that, is there? No, sir. Brief little mental exercise here. I'm looking for a 5-letter word that describes what I would expect you to do when I say something funny. No, it's not groan. Thank you for your help. The word, of course, is laugh. What? This printer always prints upside down. L-A-U-G-H. The reason why I want to concentrate on L-A-U-G-H is that it is the acronym for 5 simple little tricks that we'll talk about during this series on adding humor to your presentation, that if you adopt them and adapt them, will help you to add humor to your presentation. Let's briefly look at them here. L is for listen. And the basic idea behind the listen is that if you were to consider over the last 24 or 48 hours that you actually have heard a number of things or comments or quips that made you laugh, but right now you probably can't remember any of them. However, if you in future, when you hear something that makes you laugh, you listen to it and then you write it down. You now have a little humorous element that you might be able to use sometime, somewhere, someplace in some presentation. Right now, you may not know when you will use it, but you've got a humorous little quote or comment.
Hey, it's Conor Cunneen, Irishman Speaks here, offering you some simple tips, tricks, and techniques on adding humor to your presentation. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button, and below in the video description, you will find a link to get 53 humorous quotes and flubs that you can use in any presentation.
A is for anecdote. When I ask my audiences, over the last week or 2 weeks, did you laugh more at jokes or at some anecdotes or comments or quips that people have made? First kind of reaction is jokes. But then when you actually think about it, you haven't heard that many jokes over the last couple of days and weeks, but you have laughed quite a bit at the anecdote or comment that someone has said. So if you can actually record, capture, after you've listened to the anecdote, you now have a humorous piece of material again that you will be able to use to add humor to your presentation. U is for uncomfortable. And the basic idea here is that some of the funniest stories that you tell your friends around the water cooler or the coffee shop or when you're having a pint of Guinness, hopefully, yeah, okay, when you're having a pint of Guinness, is an anecdote where something went wrong that kind of embarrassed you or upset you or someone else at the time, but now means nothing in terms of its importance or the embarrassment. So taking an anecdote, if you got an uncomfortable element with that anecdote at the time, there's real potential for humor. G is for the Googler. And the basic idea here is that if you Google on the Bing, or wherever you want to Google, maybe ChatGPT at this stage, but the Googler is a major source of content for you. And if you've got a topic you want to speak on and just add a few elements of humor to it, pop that topic into the Googler, put the word humorous or anecdote or funny with it, see what pops up. You may well be able to use that material. I am not suggesting plagiarism, and I will discuss that in a later video. And then H, he to ho ho ho. The idea here is that if you are making a presentation, for instance, and the audience just gives a small little giggle or goes tittering a little bit. Can I use that word, titter? Okay, all right. The audience will titter a little bit. What you have got there is probably the potential to find some content or phrasing that will take them from he to ho the next time you are presenting. And you can do that by just looking at the phrasing that you use, maybe expanding it a little bit, quite likely actually contracting it a little bit, maybe using a different word. But the idea is that now you've got them going he. If you work on it a little bit, you will go to ho. In this series on adding humor to your presentation, I am not suggesting that you write or create your own comedy. You can do that, and we'll give you ideas how to do it. But the best way for you to find material for adding humor to your presentation is to capture the humor around you. And when you capture the humor around you, paying particular attention to the laugh acronym, you will end up getting in front of people, presenting, adding humor to your presentation, and having those people say, hey, I loved your message and I loved your humor. So Conor Cunneen, Irishman Speaks, off to walk the land again, contemplating adding humor to your presentation. Cheers. That was a bit of a laugh, wasn't it? What? We forgot to hit the record button. We got to do it again. Oh. I'm sure I'll find something funny in that at some stage. Okay, off we go again.